The first thing you need to know is this is a true story of real events. It was found in the journal of somebody who's found gruesomely murdered in their house. People thought Mojang did it. After all of these years, Herobrine was removed. They stopped putting it in the bug report. They no longer said, Herobrine squashed, Herobrine removed. So we all assumed Herobrine was gone, but the sad truth is he isn't. Day 1 of the journal goes as follows. It was late last night, and I was working on mining for diamonds. The game mode was survival. After all, I'm a survival purist. But something was strange. I found a cavern that had redstone, dust, trails that glowed without explanation. So, I had no choice. I walked towards the cave, but somehow it had netherrack floors and soul stand walls. I was intrigued by this. Was it some bug that had yet been discovered? As I walked into the cave, the fog effect appeared. Now I was truly confused, as I was on Y level 58. However, I shrugged it off, as I continued into the eerily lit, strange cave. I then saw what appeared to be the heads of dead players on fence posts. Becoming even more confused, but yet intrigued, I said to myself, how could this be possible in Bedrock Minecraft? I don't have any add-ons on, or resource packs, and there's no mods. This is when I made a grievous mistake. I broke one of the heads to see if I could figure out what it was and what was going on. As soon as the head broke and fell to the ground, I heard a strange noise. It was almost like a mix of the sound between a gas moan, an Enderman screech, and the warden waking up. My character then got nausea, and as I tried to run away, my character stopped moving altogether. It appeared he had slowness, to the extent where he could no longer move or function. And in the distance of the cave, I could now see Right Eye staring at me, as an entity slowly walked toward me holding a netherite axe. But it was different somehow, as instead of being the usual enchanted glow, it glowed a faint red, and it had a texture almost like blood on it. As the entity got closer and closer, the nausea began to clear, but the cave began to shift and change. It didn't even look like Minecraft anymore. It looked real, too real. The trails of redstone were now flowing blood, and the ground pulsated and looked like flesh, but not human flesh. Kind of a rocky netherrack type of flesh. I frantically began to hit Alt F4 to close Minecraft, but it wouldn't close. I then began to spam Control Delete, but it was to no avail. All of that hair on my body now began to stand up, and I felt like I was actually being watched, like I was actually in danger. But I figured, hey, who wouldn't feel like that with a weird encounter like this in a video game? So, I suppose I had to see what would happen to my poor character. The entity was now clearly visible. It was my skin, but the eyes were soulless, plain right, but they were still so off-putting and scary. It also looked like it didn't belong in Minecraft. It looked too real. Then, as it was only 3 blocks away from me, the screen went black, and I had blindness on. When the screen turned back on, the game looked way too real. It was as if it was real life. My character was still wearing the clothes of my skin, but it had my actual face, and my perspective was forced to see him tied up. The entity now appeared on the screen also with my face, but the eyes were soulless, and then it threw the axe next to my head, barely missing it, hitting it just enough to have blood drip down my face. But then it pulled out a rusty pair of shears and began to cut into my character's flesh. Blood began to pour from it, and I could hear screams of pain that sounded like my own. It was working its way up my character's body towards his neck. The crying and screaming were mine, but how? I never recorded any lines for Minecraft, and certainly they don't know what my face looks like. I couldn't explain it. This game is E for everyone. How could they let this happen in it? This is way too dark. Not even I could handle it any longer. So I tried unplugging my computer, but somehow it stayed powered on. Then I held the power button to try to force it to close, try to force the computer to turn off somehow. Something had to stop this mess. But that's when I seemed to have angered the entity. Instead of the computer turning off, I was forced to watch the entity grab the axe and chop off my character's head. Blood splurted out and spelled out game over onto the screen. There was no respawn option, but as the game over dripped down the screen, it began to come out of my computer screen. It was leaking. I touched it and smelled it. It smelled like iron. It smelled like real blood. I screamed out a bloody scream, and as I did, I grabbed something and smashed the screen of my computer to destroy it. It seemed like Herobrine was real. He had grown stronger somehow. I had goosebumps all over my body from my fear, and I was too scared to do much at all. I couldn't sleep that night. I haven't slept much since. I can't touch my phone, as I'm scared that Herobrine will find me. I can't play Minecraft ever again. I know he's waiting for me. The journal continues a few days later. It seems like the entity is still searching for me. I have nightmares where it's vividly looking for me in my dreams. It is talking to me in a distorted voice, telling me that I'll pay for what I did, that I'll pay for destroying its head. But it seems I have freed it from the game, or I'm losing my mind. Either way, I have an appointment with a therapist. But the truth is, whenever I look in a mirror, or even an old picture of myself, I see the disfigured me behind me with its soulless eyes, slowly getting closer and closer. I don't know how much longer I can go on like this. I don't know if I can even make it the night. It's been a day since the writer of this journal was found gruesomely murdered. The police chief told me to hide this record of his death, said it would only cause panic, but I had to let everyone know. Herobrine is real, and he can cross into our world. So hide and don't play Minecraft after 1 a.m. And certainly don't play it this Halloween. Try to stay safe, everyone. And no matter what you do not try to summon Herobrine. Do not try to find him. And don't go into that weird cave if it spawns. You don't want to end up like this man. His death looked like it was quite painful, and it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life.